Okay, so we've all been there. You open up your laptop, you check your bank account, your Stripe notifications, your DMs, and there's nothing. And suddenly your brain is spiraling, like nobody wants what I'm selling. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe my offer is just not good enough. And if that's you right now, I want you to know you are not broken, you are not failing, and you are not alone, because every single entrepreneur I know has been through this, no matter how successful they already are, which is why today's episode is all about 5 things to do when sales are slow, how to regain that clarity, how to shift your energy back into momentum without spiraling into a panic or chasing shiny new strategies. Okay, number 1, let's start with this because this is where the magic begins. You need to appreciate the sales that you do have, even when you feel like there are none, because that is where the magnetism begins. That's where your customers are going to be attracted to working with you. Because when we flow from gratitude, when we flow from abundance, people feel it. So if you're stuck in that scarcity mindset of no one wants it, I need sales, people feel that as well, and no one wants to come to Debbie Downer's party. And it actually repels sales. So it doesn't allow sales to flow in at that state. It sounds counterintuitive, but we have to start here. The actions that you can do is every day write down 1 to 3 wins, even small ones, even a DM. Send a thank you to a client or a customer because it reminds them of the connection that you have. Before you post, take 30 seconds to breathe in and feel the gratitude for your business, for your offer, for your clients. Think of the sales energy like a radio signal. If you're broadcasting fear and scarcity, people are going to turn that off damn fast. If you're broadcasting excitement, gratitude, and belief, people are going to listen to that station. So number 1, tap back into gratitude. Start there because nothing else I'm going to share with you matters unless we can get into that frequency. Number 2, we need to reconnect with your why. Before we even talk about numbers or strategies or posts, let's get clear on why you're selling what you're selling. Why did you start? Why does this offer exist? Why it actually changes lives? Here's how to become obsessed with your offer. You need to fall in love with it again. Because if you don't love it, how do you expect other people to love it? You need to remember the transformation it actually creates, revisit past client wins, testimonials, anchor in the real results, and ask yourself, if I wasn't the one selling it, why would I buy it? Think of sales like a garden. If you're watering the weeds of scarcity, frustration, nothing is going to grow. But if you water the flowers, your excitement, your belief, your obsession, they're going to bloom and people are naturally drawn to your garden. So that's why we need to understand your why. Because imagine how differently you're going to show up and sell your offer when you are obsessed with it. When you know exactly why someone should buy it, you don't have to then craft the perfect sentence that convinces someone to pay you. It's actually just learning to communicate what you already feel about your offer. And this is where people get sales so wrong. It's not about convincing someone to give you their money. It's about actually providing an offer, providing a service that they need. And isn't that just communication 101? Seeing that they have a challenge or a problem, you have the solution. How do you explain that to them in a way that they understand it? And you cannot do that unless you know your why first. Okay, number 3 is look at the narratives versus the facts, because I see this over and over and over. Are you listening to the narratives in your mind or the actual facts? Because they are different. Narratives sound like, no one wants this, I'm a failure, I can't do this. That is your ego trying to keep you safe. It wants to avoid risk, rejection. It's trying to protect you, but it's lying to you. The fact is, no one has purchased yet. That doesn't mean anything about you, your offer, your ability to run a business. Let me give you an example. One of my clients came to me recently. My beautiful client has an incredible offer around her photography services. And she said to me, hey Jess, I'm feeling really deflated. I'm feeling really stuck, like I've hit this wall and I'm feeling like no one is buying. when we actually stopped and looked at the facts, it was Tuesday when she sent me this message and she said, Jess, someone hasn't purchased since Friday. That was 4 days ago. When we looked at the facts, we had to firstly appreciate that someone just purchased 4 days ago. That doesn't mean that people don't want it. That doesn't mean that no one is going to buy. And when we then looked a level deeper at how much she was actually selling, she hadn't posted on social media since the previous Tuesday, a whole week ago. And so when we can stop and look at the facts, we can start to see where our narratives are running away with our brain, creating false narratives, lying to us, keeping us stuck in that scarcity and that comfort zone. And 2, it can prevent us from going into this ego panic attack. And when you can look at the facts, you actually now can change it. Because if you're focused on the narratives, you can't change whether people want your offer or not, whether you suck, whether you're a failure, but you can change the fact that you haven't talked about your offer in a week. You can change the fact that just not enough people know about it yet. Okay, let's now take some action so that we can get that momentum building again for your sales. Number 4 is consistency. So just like my client, we need to actually check how much we have been selling. Most of the time, our brain will overinflate it. It says, I'm showing up and selling the most. No one else is buying. Everyone's heard about it. But it's this bias that we get in our own head because we are thinking about it all the time. We are posting about it. We're the one crafting the message, but we don't realize not everyone is thinking about you and your offer as much as you are. So we want to pause and look at how much have you actually sold. And 9 times out of 10, when clients come to me feeling like nothing is happening, I can guarantee you they've probably only talked about their offer once or twice. And until you've spoken about it hundreds of times in different ways, tweaked your messaging, had conversations, gotten feedback, then you haven't really tried to sell. And sometimes that's a hard truth to swallow because then we have to see how we are actually the ones creating the lack of results. It's not our audience, it's not Instagram, it's not our email database, it's us. But until we can regain our control over our sales, we actually can't change it. So first check the facts, because if you haven't been posting, if you haven't been showing up on stories, going live, doing reels, emails, podcasts, however you market, then people don't know that your offer exists or they do not know why they need to buy it. Sales can only flow when people connect with you consistently. And consistency builds trust. Because if you only sell your offer once in a blue moon, you show up and sell it, you don't get the instant results, then you lean back, you hide, your audience are actually clocking that. Whether they're consciously aware of it or not, they're watching you lean in and then lean out and lean in and lean out. And no one wants that flaky friend who's only around when it suits them. And it's the same in sales. So it's actually the message that you're subconsciously sending your audience that you don't back your offer fully when you're not being consistent, when you're not talking about it like you just found the cure to cancer. So consistency is the foundation. Without it, nothing else matters. Okay, number 5, shiny strategy syndrome. Here's the tough love part. Because most people see that sales aren't happening. And then immediately their brain goes, oh, it's broken. I need something new. Let me scroll Instagram for an hour, listen to every guru online and decide that their way must be the key because my way isn't working. And suddenly then you're juggling 50 million different tasks that aren't moving the needle at all. That is shiny strategy syndrome. Maybe some symptoms that you want to check yourself for is that you feel busy all the time. You feel like you're doing the most, but nothing is really changing. You've got the funnels, you've got the tactics, you've got the apps, you've got the platforms, the courses, the passive income that you're chasing, and you're hoping that one of them is going to be the thing that changes it for you. But spoiler alert, you're not actually getting any closer to your goal. You're procrastinating and calling it being productive. It's not about doing more things. It's about doing the basics consistently and owning your process. Because if you can do less things but do them more intentionally, more deeply, they're going to have more results. Here's the truth. It's not about doing more things. It's about doing the basics consistently and owning your sales process. If you can do that with more intention, rather than spreading everything so thin across 50 different platforms, do the one thing with intention, because this is where the real power is. So take a step back, take a deep breath, and realize that you don't need more things. The power is within you if you can stay convicted on your path, not chasing the next shiny object. Showing up consistently, being visible, keep talking about your offer, and you will probably get sick of it. But you've got to remember, your audience are not hearing it every single time. That is how you start sales flowing. So let's recap the 5 things to do when sales are slow. Number 1, you need to appreciate the sales you already have. Tap into that magnetic energy. Number 2, reconnect with your why. Become obsessed with your offer, because if you're not obsessed with it, how can everyone else be? Number 3 is separate the narratives from the facts. Your ego versus reality. Number 4, be consistent. Check your sales, make sure you're actually selling. And number 5, let's just avoid shiny strategy syndrome altogether. Let's focus and be intentional, not outsource our power to another strategy or another guru online, because sales flow is not about doing more. It's about doing the right things consistently with the right energy and the right belief in your offer. Honestly, if you do this, sales will start moving again. I can guarantee you. But your inner voice may just say, okay, sounds nice, but where's the strategy? Sounds nice, but where's the 50-step process? Sounds nice, but tell me what viral hook I should use. That is shiny strategy syndrome and it needs to go. So put this into action and stick at it. And I can guarantee you the sales will be flowing.